Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan here from Home Theater Savants, and today we have a little bit of we're getting started right off. So today's topic, put pressure on the vendors. Why do we need to do that? Well, we need to do that because we need data. And the industry, in my opinion, is backwards. We're designing rooms around equipment when we should be picking equipment based on the room. Why are we doing that? Well, in my opinion, it's because the sales team is picking something to sell. They're pushing that thing to sell. They get it sold, and then they hand it to the engineer, and they're like, hey, I sold this. Make it work. Doesn't that seem kind of backwards? How can you implement a properly integrated room if you're trying to base everything around equipment that was already sold? It doesn't work. So in reality, what needs to happen is you need to flip that around. Turn that upside down and pick equipment that best suits the room. That is the important thing here. Pick equipment that best suits the room. But there's a problem, and there's a rather big problem. In the residential space, most vendors do not provide the data that we need to pick equipment to go into the room. So what do we need to do? Put pressure on the vendors. We need data. The data exists. Commercial companies are already doing this. Peter Alick gave this example at the Trinov grand opening, and I'm going to give it to you here. If you go to ISE, it's a European commercial AV show. They do a lot more than AV, but it's a huge show. It's way bigger than CEDIA. If you go there and you go into the commercial hall, because they're divided into residential and commercial just for AV. I won't go into the other halls, but you go into the commercial hall and you walk up to a commercial audio dealer or vendor and you say, I would like information on your speakers, please. What are they going to do? They're going to hand you a book of everything there is to know about their speakers. Everything that you need to know to properly implement them into a space and into a system. Now, if you go from the commercial hall and walk into the residential hall, and you walk up to a random audio dealer, or not dealer, but vendor, and you say, I would like information on your speakers, please. What are they going to do? They're going to hand you a pamphlet. What do you do with a pamphlet? We don't even know how the information was attained. What measurements? How did they get the measurements? A lot of them say, this is my frequency response. Well, at what volume was that frequency response made? You know, I can get down to 2 hertz on a phone speaker if I'm like right there. So how did they get those measurements? How did they get those results? These are the things that we need to know from the companies that we are buying product from so that we can best implement those products into a system. So again, to wrap all of this up, because we want these videos to be short and concise, put pressure on the vendors because we need data. We've been doing this backwards for too long. We have been selling equipment and then trying to build a room around this equipment instead of building the room and then selecting the equipment to go in the room. So put pressure on the vendors to get data and then use that data to best pick equipment to go in the room. Remember, the room is one of the most critical parts of any system, and it's important to get it right. A bad speaker or an okay speaker can sound great in a good room. A really good speaker can sound really bad in a really bad room. So get the room right and base the equipment choice on the room. That's it for today. If you guys have any ideas or other suggestions for topics, please drop them in the comments. I realize this is a new channel, but we're going to be doing more of this. I get fired up about topics like this. I'm pretty animated for any of you guys that don't know me. I do have a resting bee face, just so you're aware. It's not that I'm unhappy. It's just I gotta frown. So it's how I am. But if you guys have any suggestions, hit them down below. I'm Ryan with Home Theater Savants. Until next time, have a good one.